AfterBuzz TV Network. Now the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's The New Normal After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's The New Normal After Show.
Raise our glasses. Raise a glass, y'all.
Yeah.
Bing is for doing, and we are here at AfterBuzz TV doing another episode of The New Normal. These are 2 episodes, episodes 21 and 22, Finding Nemo and The Big Day, season enders. Great episodes, super cute, heartwarming also. I am your host, Lauren Leonelli.
Jacque Borowski.
Hi, I am Jake DuPree.
And I'm Tara Johnson.
And we are having champagne because we are all of age. We're celebrating.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? I am only 18.
Well, besides Jake.
Okay, then I need to move over a little bit.
He did show me a fake ID in all fairness, so I thought it was okay.
And it looked real.
It all checked
Really
out.
did.
Totally looked real. All right, the first episode was Finding Nemo. So we know that they're obviously making decisions. This episode was all about decisions. Started out with wedding decisions, and of course we know that Brian's going to be very neurotic about everything and the blood orange cake and all the things that he wanted. And I thought it was super funny how they decided, you know what, let's just leave it up to the hat to make the decisions. Now, I have a question for you all. Of course, it ended up screwing over Brian because David got all of the things that he wanted, and they were bad, like a Segway and
the Sith Lord valet people.
The Sith Lord valet. I mean,
no.
I like these ideas.
at a wedding,
Our day, our way.
Well,
That was so
only
typical,
that's only-
nerd wedding situation.
And that's only his way. Brian didn't
that's
get
what I'm saying. It doesn't even make
own
sense.
thing.
That
okay.
could, and I mean, what are the odds that he's going to pull every single card for himself?
Ain't that a bitch?
I'm just saying, I found that a little unbelievable, but that's okay. Would you guys have agreed to that had you been having a tough, because, sorry, I'm interrupting my own self. Had you had a tough decision with your, significant other making plans, would you have done that? Because I kind of don't think that I would, but when they brought it up, I'm like, you know what? It's kind of a good idea. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. However, I feel like if some of the stuff that I really wanted came out not my husband or whoever or husband-to-be would draw the stuff that I didn't want, I would probably get really mad.
Well, yeah. I mean, I just think it's fair in a sense, but it's also it's your day as well. You should get your own way.
But how do you decide then? Would you have done the hat thing?
No, I think it's about compromise. It's usually one person really wants, let's say one person really wants a certain type of cake and the other person really wants a certain type of song to be played at the wedding. And I think it's just a matter of, talking with that person and knowing which item and which thing is more important to them and what they have their heart set on, and the rest of it, it's you might as well do the rest of it in a hat. But I mean, if you have something that's really important to you and that it would make you cry if the wrong thing came out of the hat, then that needs to be discussed.
Right.
I don't know. I think I might have done the hat only because the things that they were throwing into the hat, how the valets dress.
Yeah, that's not.
You know what I mean? That stuff to me was
cake. Yeah, I don't care about cake.
Yeah, I don't
or
care about that kind of stuff. So I was like, yeah, all right, we can do it. If we can't agree on it, we can't sit down together. We're going to live the rest of our lives together, but we can't decide on these things, then throw it in a hat.
Just get a multi-layered cake with different flavors for each layer. Ding dong, hello.
Or not even multi-layered, but you've been to those real cheesy East Coast, middle of nowhere Italian weddings where there's a cake and a bridge and then a cake and a cake and a cake and then another bridge, and you're like, well,
I have not been to that wedding, but I want to go to
yeah.
that.
I have.
I want to.
I have. and it was all the same flavor, but it was very large and very Italian.
Takes the whole table, right?
At the rec center in the town of like 10,000 people.
Everyone gets a slice of cake that big.
Hey,
everyone in the entire town.
You could have definitely more than one slice of cake. But you could, I mean, there are ways to compromise. You could totally do stuff like that instead of picking things out of a hat. But I feel like Bryan and David could not. They did try the compromising thing. Like, he's like, well, I got the toasted almond cake, but you got, I forget what the other thing, what they were conceding on with each other. I forget the details. But somehow other things started coming up. And it just like, they couldn't compromise on everything. So they're like, throw it in a hat, which...
I think that was Bryan's mom's fault, though. I think she exacerbated it.
Yeah, she definitely. I wanted to like her, but then I kind of started to get annoyed by her. But you know who annoyed me worse was David's mom.
Yeah, you could not take her.
I don't know what it was about her. She didn't show up until the next episode, so we won't talk about her yet. But anyway, Bryan's mom was
Colleen.
She was, I don't know. You loved her, Jake. Why did you like her so much?
Colleen? Yeah. I liked David's mom.
No, David's mom, yeah.
I like David's mom. Just because I saw her in Xanadu on Broadway, and I saw it, I think,
who was she in
4
Xanadu?
times.
No, stop. I have something to say.
Yeah, and she was amazing.
Who was she in Xanadu is not the question. The question is, you saw Xanadu on Broadway?
Trust me, it was actually great. It was actually great.
There are roller skates.
There are roller skates.
I know there's roller skates, but no Olivia Newton-John. I'm not there.
It's the biggest gay explosion since Vesuvius met in the new normal. Like, it's just like glitter.
Did you see it with the original guy?
Yes. I saw it.
What's his name?
Cheyenne Jackson.
Cheyenne Jackson is beautiful.
I can't
even get into this conversation right now.
Completely off
program for a breaking news story.
Yes.
Completely off topic, but Cheyenne Jackson, I see him.
I'm just talking about Xanadu, not your show.
Okay, but this is a gay topic, and we're talking about a
Cheyenne
gay show.
Jackson
is gay.
Just I can't speak.
That's okay. We're just hosting a show. You don't need to be able to speak.
Again, I can't.
Cheyenne Jackson is gay and is married.
That was my point.
To a man.
Yeah.
I'm assuming. Okay.
Yes,
well, you made it sound like they didn't go together.
No, he's married to a man.
Yep.
That's great. Good for them. No, I'm being serious.
And I'm sure they had a wedding.
And I'm sure they had
segue.
That's how you bring it back, Jackie.
And speaking of segues, Bryan wanted to have, or David wanted to have a segue as the getaway for the exit for the groom and the groom. I am sorry, but
fabulous. No,
I'm down. No, I'm serious.
I was gonna say
Gross.
Wait, hold on.
No.
You are on a whole other side that I thought you would be.
No, I would totally do
You
that.
would not ride away on a Tara.
You and Uncle Jesse are riding off into the sunset on a Segway.
Let me tell you,
you are not.
John Stamos wants to ride in. That's absolutely fine.
Tara, you are not a 45-year-old Harvard professor that's white and old. You can't drive a Segway.
I totally would do it.
You would not get on a Segway and leave your own wedding in your dress on a Segway.
I promise you, Athens, Georgia. Picture this.
Athens.
It's a June summer afternoon in Athens, Georgia. That's right. It's hot. The wedding is over.
Air conditioning Rolls Royce is what I would get in.
We are rolling down the highway. I promise I would totally do that. I kid you not. I would totally do it.
She can air it out while she's riding.
To each his own, but I definitely, I would not have gone for it. But again, this is a prime example, which we've seen the entire season of the huge, vast differences between Bryan and David. And it was like opposite ends of the spectrum. We're talking Segways, and he's talking like, what was the gourmet, not sushi bar, or
martini bar.
Martini bar, that's what it was.
Mint
martini bar. I mean, you could not be on two opposite ends of the spectrum. And they did this throughout the entire season, and of course they're going to end it that way too. I mean, that's what makes this couple kind of funny, because they're like the odd couple. One's got a male energy, one's got a female energy, and so, it allows people to relate, I guess, which is still a little...
Well, I guess attract.
It's true, but I feel like it's conforming to the norm a little bit. But let's make same-sex couples understand maybe a little bit. I don't know if that's what they were doing, but they could be two very manly men, and it would be.
Yeah.
But whatever. I'm playing on that again. They did that through the whole season,
right?
And of course they're going to do it here. And yeah, it makes for a funny story. And I think that Bryan's character is so super funny.
For sure.
Yeah. What was the? I love I think my favorite line this episode was when David was, before they had decided to do the hat thing. And they were talking about all these decisions, and you decided this, and we decided this, and I just, gluten-free boutonnieres. And I just think it's so funny because I was having this conversation with some friends the other day about how people write gluten-free on things that clearly aren't gluten. Like, no, well, they aren't. There's no, obviously it's like gluten-free water. Like, thank you. We
there wouldn't
figured
be gluten
that.
in it, you ass.
Like, I think it's so funny that the marketing tool is just so like, let's call it gluten-free, even though it's like a watch. I mean, a gluten-free Michael Kors watch, everybody.
The people that made this watch were gluten-free, so
I'm sorry. I just thought that was really funny how
it's true though.
This show is so current and on it because they pick up on those like very, very like relevant trends, like the gluten-free, like, and they hit them in one note and then they leave them, and they have so many in the episode. It makes you feel like you're having a funny conversation. I literally just had this conversation with my friends the other day.
Yeah.
And also she mentioned the big gypsy wedding, that big fat gypsy wedding. That reference. I mean, that's a super recent show.
Super
I like
recent.
that. I like that they do that.
I like how they do that. So then we get to the point where now they're like, oh, all right, this hat game thing is like too much. You can tell that Brian's like, I can't. He's about to explode. He got none of his choices, and he's like, I think in his mind he's thinking, what are the odds? Put the damn names in the hat. And of course, the mom is there to say, let's do this, and they pull out Julie.
Now, I would not name my son Julie.
No.
Oh, yeah, no.
Was that expected? I mean, that's,
I did not. So Julius was the name, but they call him short for Julie, or Thomas, but then it would be Tom Sawyer or Tom Collins. And that's weird, too. So none of them were really good choices, in my opinion, but that was the breaking point for Brian. He lost it. Mm-hmm. Now, would you do baby names in a hat?
No. That's easy. Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
No?
Hell no.
I think most people spend forever picking out baby names. That's like the one hot ticket item.
You should know this because it's a Greek tradition. And I have two friends that are Greek, and they're married, and they're about to have a baby. And the rule is that when you find the sex of the baby, either before or, at the hospital, whichever one, you're supposed to pick the husband's parents. So if it's a girl, you pick the mom's name, and if it's a boy, you pick the dad's name. So they found out, and they have to name their baby the dad's name, the husband's dad's name. And of course, it's Demetrius. I mean, it's obviously a very Greek name, and it's fine. Right. But I, in my head, am like, cannot do that. It's not even like about not liking the name or liking the name, but I'm just like, it's a name. Like, I can't do that. But I think when you grow up knowing that that's just the way it is, you don't even think, they're just like, and that's the baby's name.
That's it.
Like, it's no
one questioned it. Nope. Do we even like Demetrius? Like, not the name, the person that they're naming the baby after.
Yeah, her husband's father. Oh, yeah. Okay. I mean, he's great. But, well, hopefully that would be, I would hope.
That's a good question.
That would matter, maybe, you would think. But no, I mean, it's a tradition, and there's no thought in it. It's just like, yes, and done.
It makes it easier.
I guess so, but I just don't think I could do that. And I feel bad because I'm kind of a traditional person. And I would think that if that were the case and I married like John Stamos, which could totally happen, and I would be like, I am not naming the baby after your dad, unless his name's like something cool, like, I don't know, something that is a man of that age probably would not have that name. So I wouldn't be able to do that.
Well, I mean, traditions are there and they're great, but they're also new traditions are to be made every single day.
Which is the show is like totally about that. I just thought that was interesting.
And the show comments on the fact that, the importance of naming somebody something and then they have to live with it for the rest of their life. And that's what they were talking about with Shania. Where she was basically like, you name me after some singer, and I didn't think about me living with this weird name for the rest of my life, but then realized that it fit her.
And by the way, Shania is not even her real name. Her real name is Eileen. Shania Twain's real name is Eileen.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's like Eileen. Sorry, I didn't explain myself. It's like Eileen. I don't know. Being that. Somebody being that.
Being that.
And call us and let us know, please, and have a conversation with us. And while you're binging, why don't you go onto iTunes and rate and comment on our show, even though we're done tonight. But, we don't know about the season 2 of The New Normal. And
Born Eileen Regina Edwards.
Thank you.
Thanks.
There you go.
Eileen Regina
Rate
Edwards.
and comment on all our other shows.
And you can comment on Shania Twain's not real name, which clearly is not real. Shania Twain, that's like Dallas Raines. Whose real name is that?
That's a soap opera name.
It's not real.
Yeah.
So anyway, go to Bing, search all of your lovely questions, and rate and comment on iTunes, please. Keeps the lights on. We love hearing what you guys have to say.
And please tell so many friends.
Tell your friends.
Absolutely.
But yeah, Shania Twain's not even the singer's real name. But yeah, I guess apparently it came out that they were like having sex in the bathroom at the pharmacy, and Shania Twain was playing, so they named her Shania, which clearly, I mean, what other name do you connect to Shania? I mean, I always knew that that's who they named her after.
Should they have told that to their daughter?
No.
But this is a couple that does that, you know.
Right.
They just do that.
They do that, and then they also, in the following episode, which again we'll touch on a little bit more, obviously, Clay had a conversation with Shania about, I don't know, about marrying I really want to marry your mom, but she wants to change your name. And it was just like conversations I don't think you should be having with your 10-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
Well, Clay is not smart. I mean, that's an understatement.
But we have to think about the importance of the moment. Even though Shania didn't think it was a great, important moment that her parents were, getting it in, as a Shania Twain song was,
getting it in.
But between the two of them, in their youth, it was a tremendous moment between the two of them. So they were like, "This is very special. Why not name our child after the woman who was singing as we got it in the
My sister was named after a billboard.
What's your sister's name?
Ashley. It was on a billboard.
Oh, well, but that was just like, this is a great classic name, and it just jumped out at me. It's not like it said "got milk" or something. Well, the girl in the episode when Shania wants to change her name to Sarah because it's more common, and then she meets a little girl named Blog, which is hysterical.
Which also goes into your comment about the new trends that are going on, because people are naming their kid like Facebook.
No, they are not.
Yeah.
Who did that?
Yeah, that's all over the news. There's somebody named their kid Facebook. There was another one that named their kid
Twitter.
There have been all kinds of weird internet names.
Well, if I had a kid, I'd name it Instagram. Because I really do like Instagram. Call it Gram for short.
Also, maybe another popular name could be Selfie.
Selfie. Okay, I'm sorry, but Apple is sounding really good right now.
That's a cute.
That was
I think that's
years ago.
A cute-ish name.
I don't at all.
That was years ago. That's old now.
That's Gwyneth Paltrow. Bye.
We're not even. I mean, she's so 1993. But yeah, I did not like the name Julie.
No.
And Tom is so. I just didn't understand.
Not for a boy, no.
No, and I really felt like Tom was so not what Bryan would have wanted. I thought he was going to say like something,
River,
or something really trendy or like very, new agey or something. But no, I was surprised by that. So Shania, anyway. So we're speaking of names. Shania wants to change her name to Sarah. She ends up deciding, no, I like Shania because it's different, and
But she also said that I want to be named Sarah because there were 5 other Sarahs in my class, and I just want to be one of them, which is so anti-Shania.
Which is so, well, she always has her moments that she kind of like goes back and forth between, but it's an interesting point because when I think like if you think about the evolution of your psychology from like childhood into like teenage years, it goes into like, I want to be like everyone else in elementary school, and then you get to high school and you're like, that girl's wearing my shirt, I want to be the only one. Like you go into that like, I'm me. It's like when you start to find yourself, or I think when you get into that group setting of a whole bunch of kids and you just want to fit in, it's like, of course she wants her name to be Sarah like everyone else's. Or, I mean, we all grew up with people, I'm sure, that had the same name as us, and I actually didn't grow up with a lot of Laurens, which is weird because it's a very common 80s name. But yeah, at the end of the day, she decides Shania is
all right for her.
Perfect.
All right. And I think, it fits her now that we know her as that girl. The namesake where it came from doesn't fit her, but anyway. And the episode ends very nicely with the boys looking at a baby picture, and because both of their last names are on the sonogram, it says Sawyer Collins. And how cute is that name?
That's a great name.
I love that.
It was perfect.
Great name.
I mean, I think Sawyer is such a cute name.
Really?
So I was happy with that ending. It ended like, most of the episodes do, where they're kind of like, we always like to say, wrapped up in a pretty little present. But it was fitting for like feeling like the whole story is coming to an end, as a,
And it wasn't teaching us a lesson, really. I didn't feel like it was, trying to hammer home a point. It was just more like, oh, we found our name, which we had been looking for the whole episode. So it was
Right. And this episode, to me, I agree with you, Lauren. I was thinking that was the end, but then they threw the clay proposal in at the very end.
Right.
And that just seemed really strange to me.
We almost missed it and everything.
We did.
Right. They did throw that in at the end.
I wanted to miss it.
And they did not, obviously, Goldie did not have an answer.
Right.
And I wasn't sure about Shania's reaction, because I was like, does she want her to say yes? Like, that's kind of the impression I got.
True. I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
And then we find out different. So let's move into episode 21, or 22, excuse me, which was the big day. And of course, this is the wedding. We all predicted that the show would end with the baby coming. So that came true. Obvious prediction, though, I think, right?
I had a feeling that was going to happen during the wedding.
I mean,
really? No, are you?
It's a classic sitcom.
So classic sitcom. I think it's okay. I mean, look, the show is like breaking a lot of glass ceilings in its own right. So if it's a sitcom, it can stick to that format fine. But I mean, I think that there's part of us who, I mean, I know us sitting here want it to really go for it. And I think it does kind of have to, there are some boundaries it has to stay within because of the subject matter, I think, maybe. But sometimes I will say that it was a little frustrating to watch, like, the lesson happen like Full House over and over again. Uncle Jesse.
Well, anything with Uncle Jesse is fine by me, though.
Mm-hmm.
See,
just saying.
Every time I watch the show, I always think back to Will and Grace. And I mean, like, the stigma for that show to happen when it did and to be as successful it was, that was huge.
Yeah.
And I feel like this show could have taken the lesson that they kind of brought to TV, the history of TV, to just be like, let's go for it. And let's not apologize for it. And I think that they did that for a lot of the episodes, but there were some things that I wish they would have maybe like
pushed a little more.
Tried
so you feel like the lesson that they would wrap up in the present at the end was sort of like them apologizing a little bit for the subject matter.
Kind of,
I agree. I totally
agree. And in Will
agree.
and Grace, it's just shameless,
It's
shameless,
like,
shameless, and I love that.
Yeah, I think they definitely could have done that too. And that was a sitcom as well, Will and Grace. So yeah, maybe if we get season number 2, maybe they'll go for it a little bit more.
I mean, they're gonna have to figure out something for season 2 because this is their whole, thing. 2 gay men having a baby. They had a baby. Like, what's next?
Well, this episode felt like a series finale to me. It did not feel like a season finale.
I kind of got that feeling
because
too.
I mean, again, we always say it wraps everything up, but everything was wrapped up and it didn't answer any of our questions. Right. But if they went off into the sunset the way it left, they left it today.
It could be like the end of a movie.
In the movie, it'd be fine.
Yeah.
There were no loose
I know.
ends.
That's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering what, I mean, clearly they could, go in, raising the baby and things could happen like that, but we want to know what their next ultimate goal is. They were working towards this the entire time. Now it happened, so now what? I just want to know where they're going.
I think that not knowing that usually, I feel like usually at least halfway through a series, you get the pickup or not.
Yeah.
And they're still kind of in limbo. And so I feel like they had to end it that way.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's a safe way to end it if you don't know where the future is, but... Yeah, I mean, there's tons of things they can continue to do, I'm sure. But yeah, it did definitely feel like, oh, this is it. The story's over.
Well, if they come back, given this last episode, think about it. Like, Nana's completely changed. She gave Goldie this huge speech about thank you so much about how you changed my life. And I don't know, it just really seemed like the end to me.
I know.
If the season came back, it felt like almost a wrap up of her.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it was kind of her goodbye to the show.
Although last week...
We've heard those rumors.
The news and gossip said no. But yeah, it did feel like, now I guess she could still come up with those zingers. But to know that she's like okay with all of these things that she was like having issues with before, it's like, where's Nana going to be?
Yeah, where does it go? And think of Rocky. I mean, true, Rocky doesn't have a man, but she has a baby now.
Yeah.
She's a producer on the show. I think
like she has a lot more storyline that could happen.
Yeah, totally. But if everything, but there's nothing that was kind of left out there.
No, but there's nothing that was left out for her. She came full circle as well.
Totally.
Yeah.
And Goldie and Shania at the end were like, this is what we came for, and this is our family now, and we're happy. And there was nobody searching for anything anymore, is how it feels. So that's very interesting. I wonder if any of you viewers at home took note to that. Well. Anyway, the episode opens up with wedding planning. I always love wedding planning stuff. Like, I love watching shows about wedding planning. I love watching oh my gosh, the Steve Martin movie,
Father of the Bride.
Father of the Bride. Why did I just blank on that?
1, 2, and
I mean,
1 and 2 or 1, 2, and 3?
all of them. I just love that whole. So it got me all excited, like the flowers and the, you know, and then of course the mothers come into play, and the whole thing is like it's going to be our day, our way, and then, you know, it's not. I guess it's like a nice, real picture of how things like that happen, because weddings are about, you know, the groom and groom, or bride and bride, or bride and groom, or whoever the two people are that are coming together. But it's also a day for everyone there to enjoy. Like, everyone feels really involved, and especially like the parents of the, you know, the people getting married. And I feel like, yes, you want it to be your way, but it's totally unreasonable to like think that these people aren't going to come in and say like, those were kind of big deals. Like, this is the tux that everyone, Grandpa Julie's tux that everyone wears. Like,
and they had to fix it so that the crotch wasn't as big.
Because we know how big he was.
Okay, wait, hold on. Let me just interject now, because we talked about this before on the last episode wrap up. That, I am sorry, but David's mom freaks me out.
But she
practically made out with him when she brought him down the aisle.
And she's like, you know how big your grandpa was, and says it like as she's licking her lips. I'm like, wow.
Isn't she a sex therapist or something? Like, what is her profession? Am I making this up?
No.
Isn't she like a
it seems like she had some sort of
It's something
job
like that. A sex surrogate. I don't know, something.
No, but she was the one that encouraged Nana to go out and date people and be adventurous sexually.
I just thought, and that's fine. I am all right with that. But she's crossing the lines into like incestuous stuff that was freaking me out.
I think she's awesome.
I don't know. For whatever reason, she freaked me out.
It was over the top, but I don't know. I thought it would added a whole different level, especially compared to Brian's mother.
Yeah, who was like kind of like a stick in the mud a little bit.
A little bit.
But they all had their, you know, they wanted to, you know, play a part in the traditions for whatever their families had done in the past. And I think that's just kind of how, that's realistic to know. You know, when the boys conceded, they were like, okay, and this is, you know, but I do feel like it was kind of set up perfectly where they were going into this wedding and everything felt a little like, wait, you're doing that? Wait, you're wearing that tux? Wait, you have vows? Wait, And then, of course, Goldie enters with the, my water broke.
But really, did we want Gary? That's the same, right?
Yeah.
Did we really want Gary to marry them?
No. I mean, there was
not wearing that either. Whatever he was wearing.
The gong and the Asian like get up. Look, everything was pointing to this day was turning into something that it shouldn't have been.
And Gary was trying to join in on the marriage.
Yeah,
the three of us.
This man, and this man. But I'm just saying, when you have days like that, unless you go elope on like some mountain top in Fiji, like Tori Spelling and Dean, whatever his name is, are. You probably watch that reality show, so don't roll your eyes.
I don't actually.
You kind of have to. I mean, there's other people involved. You know what I mean? Family members, they get involved, and you kind of have to say, okay, you know, let's not please everyone, but these people's opinions matter too. But this wedding day was starting to turn into something else, and it was getting, you know, so it was fitting that Goldie interrupted, thank God, and had the baby, who, by the way, when she was getting whisked into the hospital in slow motion, we were all like, well, she looks very chipper for a woman in labor.
Great.
She did not seem upset. But then when they started to do the, you know, they're playing that slow song and everything was slow-mo as she was going through the labor and the pain, you guys got worried in the room.
Which I did. I was like, please don't tell me. And I think what really set me off was Clay's face when they were looking at the pictures of her. And then the music changed. And I was like, please don't tell me they're going to let something happen to Goldie. That would have completely changed the tenor of the show. Totally. But it would have been something that the show ended, been different.
Well, it would have made us all feel like season 2 has like a journey and a story
Absolutely.
now. Not that they should have killed off Goldie, but I kind of...
They could have killed off Clay.
You are so not a Clay. But I like Clay and his lighthearted, I don't have anything between my ears type of.
I still want her to date. I still want her to date Rocky's brother.
Yeah.
He kind of like came in and out.
He was an upstanding citizen.
Yeah, but then I kind of forgot about him though. Like he came in and out, and then I'm like, oh yeah, oh he's gone. Oh, I didn't even notice.
And you never forget Clay.
I would have liked to have seen a showdown between Clay and Rocky's brother.
It could happen in the future, if there is a future. Season 2, maybe. But yes, nothing happened to Goldie. Thank God she was okay. They
that
had
really
the baby.
threw me for a second. I'm sorry. I was like, oh,
You know what? Once you said that out loud, you're like, nothing's gonna happen to Goldie, and then I was kind of like, oh, are they gonna do that?
Yeah.
They didn't.
Yeah. Thank goodness.
Yeah, it would have been weird.
Very.
It wouldn't have gone with the tone of the show. But so they are holding this baby at the end of the day, super cute, in the Jonathan Adler hospital room.
Yes, that was a very well decorated hospital room.
I mean,
is that what all the hospital
fancy.
rooms?
I thought it looked a little more neat.
It was a Blue Ivy hospital room.
Definitely.
Floor rented, honey.
I feel like it looked a little more Nate Berkus than Jonathan Adler, but
I could see that. But those tree stencils, that kind of was like, there was like a little craftiness that Jonathan Adler provides.
All right, well, whatever. I'm just saying that hospital room was very unrealistic, okay? All I'm saying.
My designers.
Not that having her water break in the middle of the wedding was unrealistic or anything, but I'm just pointing out that the hospital room was not like any other hospital room I've ever seen.
No.
So we touched on this a little bit, but the episode ends with Nana coming full circle, basically. Her character made this huge arc of, like, being racist and closed-minded and, like, awful, but funny at the same time, granted. And she basically is just like, we moved here, I just, sold a house. And Goldie, of course, is like, now you want to go back. And she's like, no, we came here to do what we wanted to do, and this is where we should be.
And the quote of the night, embrace your potential, not your past.
Right.
I was like, I want to steal that and use that as my senior quote.
Because you're about to graduate.
I'm going to write it in your yearbook.
Thank you.
I will.
KIT.
No, but I really like that. I think that sums up the show.
Right.
In a nutshell a little bit.
Exactly. Sums up the entire show.
And I like the idea that these characters were being pushed out of their comfort zone, and they turned out better for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that was a good message.
That's true with life. I mean, it's like you always have to know that you've got two decisions to make, and you always have to pick the one that scares you. There's no way that you're ever going to learn and grow and open new doors and do anything. I mean, that's what I think. If it freaks you out, I say go for that one.
Yeah.
And they all did that. They all did something, out of their, even Bryan and David, they constantly, because they're so different than each other, they're trying to understand each other's sides.
They had a baby. That was out of their comfort zone in the first place, I think.
Out of their comfort zone, but I think even individually, because they're so different, like Bryan's always trying to like take on some of David's ideas or qualities, or, go down the path David's going, and vice versa, just so they can, have their relationship or whatever, but just see, what else there is out there besides because they're very, not narrow-minded, but they're very focused on what they want, and they're very different. And it was nice to see their paths crossing in and out. And that was kind of their whole thing the whole time. Every episode it was like, Bryan likes this, David likes this. How are they going to come together in the end? And this baby obviously is bringing them ultimately together. And everyone else, too, because they go to the beach. Shania is missing.
Yeah, that was strange to me. That one was
how did she get to the beach? I mean, where do they live?
Well, how did they find her? Because Rocky is apparently now in the CIA.
Well, maybe she is.
Because she's like, I will tap her phone. Do. 2 seconds later, they find her.
At the beach.
Well,
that was a little weird.
She said if her phone has a tracking device on it, we can find her. But, I mean, I guess kids' cell phones do have tracking devices on them, but it was, again, convenient. They find Shania on the beach, and she's back. If you remember how the season started, they came to the beach when they first came to LA, and they sat there and looked at the ocean and how endless it was. And I thought it was a nice little metaphor. And, of course, they get this fabulous idea to marry on the beach.
What better way to do it?
I mean, I thought it was nice that they were all, that's their family. Like, that's what they all had agreed on, Rocky and the baby and Nana. Oh, Nana wasn't there, was she?
Nope.
Oh.
See?
But, the boys and Goldie and all the people that have really been there for all the big, huge decisions. And they thought, let's just do this here. And the baby was there, too, and I thought that was cute.
That was cute.
And I liked that the father...
I love that.
Yeah, that
I was losing my crap towards the end. I was like, I'm going to start crying. It was just too sweet.
I was very surprised about the emotion that came over me during the wedding, the vows. I felt like I was going to cry.
Me too.
I was very surprised.
Yeah, I was about to pass tissue to you three. I wasn't quite as moved. I thought it was nice.
Yeah.
I like the Father Michael.
Father Michael.
I like the Father Michael come back, that touch from him, but I wasn't to tears quite yet.
I think for me it was also like I have a problem with like things ending. It makes me sad.
I know.
Well,
Like just things in general. I just always get really sad, and I hope that the show isn't ending. But I felt like it was this like joyous moment for the cast members who have probably grown really close with each other.
Right.
and have become a family in a way.
True. Oh, yeah.
So it was a nice. I don't know. It was that too.
Yeah, it was that. It felt like all encompassing of the actors and the characters, and they all embarked on this journey together, which was kind of groundbreaking. And I think that creates a bond more so than it would on a show that's a little more lighthearted, if you will. I mean, maybe not, but it just feels like it would. So yeah, maybe that's what it was, that underlying emotion and the path that they all took together and they came full circle. And I hope the show's not ending, but if it does, it was a nice way to end
True.
it.
Yes.
I felt like the characters, maybe the writers, because they're great and funny and smart and amazing. I'm sure they can come up with some other interesting things for these characters to go fight for or to go search for and find. But if it doesn't, it's a nice, I feel satisfied.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
Completely.
100%. Yes.
So I thought it was cute. It ended cute. It gave me a little bit of an emotion. And we shall see what happens for the new normal coming up. How did you guys feel about the season overall, though?
I don't know. I felt it was at different speeds. I mean, think about this entire season. Nana has made this complete 180 change. She's moved from Ohio, changed her look, become a realtor in LA.
Her look is fab, by the way.
Right. Clothes is a huge deal. Rocky is now a mother and a producer on a major show. All these things I think would take years to happen. And they were happening at lightning speed, and they had the kid. It took the kid should, to me, at this pace, should have been born like mid-season or something.
Oh, okay.
It was like everyone else was going lightning
right.
speed, and Goldie having the kid was just like the slowest process.
That's a good point.
Ever.
Okay. So you thought that was kind of
Different
dragging
speeds,
along.
yeah. I
because you
thought
were
that
waiting for it to happen the whole time.
Right.
Right.
I felt like that the writers maybe at some points were trying to figure out where they wanted to take the show, because some episodes are completely different. and
Yeah.
completely out of character. I sometimes feel like for the show.
Yeah.
But I feel like with these last 3 episodes, it's not been so much about a message as a hot topic issue message, and it's been more about showing people's real life, but like in a heightened situation, a sitcom.
So you liked it more towards the end.
Yes, these last 3 episodes, I think if the show continues season 2, they need to look at those 3 episodes and continue off that vibe.
Yes.
I agree with that. And even taking into account the episode that we missed, I think that it's sad because I feel this happens to a lot of shows too, because when people start shows, sometimes, you hire the wrong writers or you have certain things that are just not gelling. And then it happens that towards the end of the season, you get your groove just as the show might not be getting renewed because of that. Right. And I've seen this like I liked Ringer. This is random, but I liked Ringer, and I think Ringer made its best episodes in the last 3, whereas this kind of picked up in the last couple episodes. But I've loved the characters throughout. I just think they needed to tighten up certain things, and I like the message of the show that this is a normal couple struggling with normal couple problems. They try to do their best to show that everybody's the
They're
same.
just like you. Yeah.
Right.
And I like that message.
I love the overall message, and I love Ryan Murphy, and I love Nana. Loved her. And it was great seeing Nene really fans of the Real Housewives of Atlanta watching her just be her. I love that. And we said that a lot, you and I, Jake, because we're huge fans, but I loved watching that too. And yes, I do feel like there were some episodes where I was like, wah, wah, a little, or like, wackiness ensues. But for the most part, I thought the message was amazing, and I do agree. The last couple episodes, it felt a little bit more real to me, and since the topics are so real and raw, I like it. It felt really good like that. So hopefully they get season 2, and hopefully they go down that path. Great season. Great first season. Glad to be a part of a groundbreaking show like this, right?
Definitely, absolutely.
All right, well, why don't we move into some quick last news and gossip?
AfterBuzz TV News.
All right, well, there's always news on Nene Leakes. And Nene and Kim Zolciak are friends again.
A wig.
They made a pact, and this is all according to tweets, okay? Just a few days ago, they had a heart-to-heart. They made a pact, and they are now BFFs again. And, we heard them through the season of The Housewives just, like, mudslinging, calling ones heifers and mooses and all of that stuff that you thought they were never going to come back from. And apparently they did. And I think that it's going to be interesting to see because we all saw Kim exit this last season, like in the beginning of it. Do you think she's going to come back?
However, on the reunion, she does come back, and that's whenever her and Nene make amends.
Oh, wait, was that on the reunion where this happened?
It's initially started that, and then her and Nene after the reunion had a reconciliation conversation.
See, sometimes good things come out of those reunions.
Yeah, you never know. And that'll be, I think it'll be on probably part 2 or probably part 3.
Right, they keep breaking those down now. There used to be just one part. Now there's like part 17.
I want it to be like part 1,000,000 because
they're so good.
So.
But I have to say, to me, this seems like a setup for a Kim and Nene spinoff.
It could 100% be that.
And Nene's getting her own wedding special.
That's right.
It's kind of confirmed.
And I love weddings. I know.
And I know that Kim will be playing a part in it, I think, now. So
spinoff.
I'm sure they're doing that, and I'll totally watch it.
Of course.
Duh.
Anything with Nene.
Hello. All right, Justin Bartha. Have some last news for Justin Bartha. Aww. He looks so cute holding that baby. He had a little interview with the HuffPost Gay Voices, and he just basically said, kind of like what we were talking about tonight, that he was felt so honored to be a part of a show like this, and it's really like coming on the heels of a very important decision with all of the stuff that's happening in the Supreme Court right now. And he says, quote, "It's not often as an actor that you get to be involved with a project that seems to be on the right side of history." And speaking about gay marriage and all of that stuff, and it's fitting that it's all happening right now. We talk about how current the show is and all the topics are, and I love that it does that. And I think that he called himself like a surprised activist. Like he all of a sudden is feeling like he has these things to fight for that don't necessarily affect his life, but being so involved in that kind of stuff, and even us, I mean, I've always felt that way, but watching the show so in depth and having the opinions like we do, I just feel like
I like hearing that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And I think that's what the point of the show is.
Yeah.
And I am hoping that the audience members watching are feeling the same way. Like now there's something that they've been turned on to or something they think they can fight for, and I like that. And we also said, we don't know anything about the new normal getting picked up, but we hope that it does. And Justin Bartha was quoted saying that they're just finding their footing, which we kind of agree. And he says, if we get another chance, we will do it better next season.
Yeah.
Let's hope so.
Nene she'll be on a couple of episodes of Glee this season.
Right. So everyone's still going strong.
Yeah.
We love it. We love it. All right. Well, we don't have any predictions except for that we hope season 2 comes back.
Yes, please.
Right.
And John Stamos calls me.
And Justin Bartha calls me.
And Nene and I become best friends.
And Jackie, no, nothing.
Shania. No.
Like Clay never goes on television.
Okay. That wasn't very nice. All right. Thank you so much for joining us for this season. We loved being a part of a show like this. I love Ryan Murphy. I love this subject matter. It was great. I was honored to be here with you guys. So much fun. Thank you for tuning in and listening. I am Lauren Leonelli. You can find me on Twitter at Lauren Leonelli, Facebook at Lauren Leonelli, and on Instagram and my website, same name.
On Twitter at 123Jackie_B.
On Twitter at Jake_DuPree, and on Instagram at Jake DuPree.
On Twitter and Instagram at TJ Path to Passion.
All right, guys. Thanks so much.
Bye.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.